On this week's episode of The Rebel Report, UNLV sends its final farewell to Sam Boyd Stadium. Plus, we take a look at the life of a UNLV journalism student. And we show you our bloopers from this semester as we send off our seniors. All this and more on the Season 8 finale.
Welcome to our Season 8 finale of The Rebel Report. I'm Brianna Hernandez.
And I'm Naomi Brown. Thanks for tuning in on KCLV Channel 2 or on our various platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and our website, rebelreportunlv.com, where you can watch extra content and keep up to date on the latest sports news here in the Valley.
We have a great show planned ahead for you and want to make our last episode of 2019 a great one, as this will be our last show ever, as well as a final show for our other fellow seniors.
We now get the show started by saying goodbye to an icon of UNLV athletics. In its 299th appearance at Sam Boyd Stadium, UNLV football sent its home of 49 years out in style with a thrilling 38-35 victory over San Jose State on Senior Day, Saturday, November 23rd.
Here is a look back at what alumni, students, fans, and former players had to say about Sam Boyd Stadium and the role it played at UNLV history.
We spent the whole 2019 season celebrating our final year here at Sam Boyd Stadium. We're going to bring all our alumni back there. They're congregating in front right now and telling old war stories. We had a reception with them last night on campus, and they're going to serve as the world's largest coin toss. They're all going to go out on the field before the game, surround our captains at midfield, and for the ceremonial coin toss before the game. So that's something we've never done before. I've never seen that happen anywhere.
At this stadium, I can remember in the first year it wasn't an enclosed stadium. There was more sagebrush blowing through, or lizards or horny toads out here than there was anything. But that's the way the stadium was in those days.
It opened in 1971 under the name Las Vegas Stadium. It was built by the city way out here in the middle of nowhere. Back then, it really was the middle of nowhere. It was the middle of the desert with nothing around it. And then the city sold it to the university for $1 later on, about a decade later.
Oh, it was great. 1981 through 84, I think.
Yeah.
I've been hitting the head a couple times. No, it was great. It was a Silver Bowl. Now it's Sam Boyd. It's pretty awesome, and other names.
Well, I've been here from day one, and my name to all my former players here, my nickname is Papa Chuck. So my brother played on the first team, and from that day forward, I felt a calamity here of just wanting to be with the players. So I've traveled with them in places that people would never travel to.
UNLV was actually holding their commencement ceremonies here outdoors at the stadium. In fact, there are photos of Frank Sinatra actually getting his honorary doctorate right here at this stadium.
So one of my first and favorite memories here was when we all were having drinks, to be honest, right on the stadium. And it was just so memorable with the fireworks going, them running out of this tunnel, and just seeing the crowd against, it was Hawaii. So, you know, that's a big game in itself. And just having that memory and the atmosphere of the mountains behind, the great sunset that would actually happen during the game, it was something that you always looked forward to. Great time to capture pictures, capture memories.
One of my favorite memories here is of the Las Vegas Bowl games, bringing my son here when he was a little guy, and being freezing cold and really enjoying some great Mountain West Championship games.
We was playing Colorado State, and it was on kickoff. And I normally don't go on kickoff. Coach put me in, I was like, okay, cool. I go down there, I'm running full speed, and I hit the dude, and it was like it was a really big, like a impact play, and the crowd went crazy.
I'll tell you, my best memory is meeting the people I've met. We all sat in separate seats years ago, and we were 3 or 4 rows apart, and we went from being 4 in a group to over 30, and we were all from different places in life.
The greatest game ever here, since I've been here, and I've been here 27 years, was in 1994. We played Reno. They were first place, and they were like 30-point favorites, and we were supposed to get killed, and we beat them. Not only did we beat them, we took the conference championship away from them and then went to the Las Vegas Bowl instead of them. So that was, to me, it was a very exciting game right down to the last play. So that was, to me, my 27 years, that was the best game ever at Sandboy Stadium.
I know that, it's funny when you're in Vegas, and I've been here a long time now, 11 years, you realize how small of a town it is, right? It's a big town, but it's a small town, and there's so many roots that are so important in this town, and Sandboy's a big part of it. A lot of people in this community have played, high school football in this stadium or cheered the Rebels on in this stadium, gone to Monster Truck. I mean, there's so many different events that have happened in the stadium, great concerts, and again, there was a long time where this was a small town, 500,000 people or even less. And this was a big place where people came to, celebrate community. So to see it close down is bittersweet. But like in every story, there is a new chapter.
It was a bittersweet that day. But UNLV Rebels are set to join the Raiders at the new and highly anticipated Allegiant Stadium.
UNLV football ends its era at Sandboy Stadium with a record of 243 wins, 351 losses, and 4 ties.
After a lengthy road trip that saw the Golden Knights grab 5 of possible 6 points, the team returned home and got the Blitz 5-0 to the New York Rangers on December 8th. But bigger news is the Knights suffered another injury after Cody Glass fell to the ice at T-Mobile Arena. Alex Wibble shows us the controversial hit.
The Vegas Golden Knights' shutout loss against the New York Rangers wasn't the only loss dealt to the team on Sunday, December 8th. Rookie Cody Glass left the game in the second period with an upper body injury. With 3 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the second period, Rangers' Brendan Lemieux checked Vegas rookie Cody Glass into the boards, hitting Glass on the side of his head with an elbow, causing him to go down. Glass was helped off the ice by Jonathan Marchessault and Mark Stone and did not return to the game following the hit. Coach Gerard Gallant hopes the hit gets looked at because it was not called on the ice.
I think we all seen the hit. It was a flying elbow to his head, and it wasn't called. It's disappointing. I hope it gets looked at because I think it's a bad hit.
Uncertain of the extent of Glass's injury, the team prepares to battle the Central Division, taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, St. Louis Blues, and Dallas Stars, before facing Pacific Division rival, the Vancouver Canucks, all before December 16th.
Rangers' Brandon Lemieux was fined $2,000 by the NHL's Department of Player Safety for elbowing Cody Glass, although there has no been other word on Glass and the extent of his injury.
In UNLV news, the Runnin' Rebels have recently played a string of games on the road. While away, their good luck quickly turned to misfortune. December 4th, the Runnin' Rebels started conference play against Fresno State in a close game that went into 2 overtimes. In the end, the Rebels were able to pull through, defeating the Bulldogs 81-80. But even after coming off of that exciting win in Fresno, the Rebels played in Utah against Brigham Young University December 7th and seemed to be unprepared defensively. The first half ended with the Cougars up 46-25, and BYU easily took the win 83-50. Runnin' Rebels head coach TJ Otzelberger says that the team's effort just wasn't good enough.
Effort's not good enough, energy wasn't good enough, and I'm excited to get to practice on Monday, and we will address all those things wholeheartedly. We're not getting good offensive possessions, and they're flying it at us, and then in the half court, their pace was just really good, and we couldn't do anything about it because we were always a step behind.
The Rebels are now 4-7 overall and 1-0 in the Mountain West Conference. The team will take a rest and resume with 5 straight games at home, starting Wednesday, December 18th at the Thomas & Mack against Pacific. Being a journalism student is not as easy as some may think. Lots of hard work, time, and dedication goes into following your dreams and passions.
For journalism students like Jeff Jens, school isn't the only responsibility on his mind on being atop of being a full-time student, balancing work life, and taking time to cover sporting events in the Valley all goes into a life of a journalism student. Here is Jeff's story.
So my name is Jeff Jens, and I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. Coming into the journalism program, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. You just have to trust the process and be open-minded and be willing to try everything. Depending on what day it is, I wake up between like 8 and 10 o'clock, 7 and 9 o'clock, go to class. I usually have class till about 5:15. And I work on projects in between classes. And then at the end of the day, when I'm done with classes, I'll usually go to the lab and work on projects till about 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then Friday and Saturdays, I DJ at one bar downtown from 8 to 11, and then I go to the next bar and I play from 11 to 3 a.m. I'll go home, I'll get a few hours of sleep, and then usually I'll wake up around 9 o'clock to go cover a press conference or a charity event or a football game. And then I'll usually edit for the rest of the day, and then I'll go back to work around 7, 8 o'clock and do it all over again. It's exhausting. So right now I'm working on a documentary about farewell to Sam Boyd Stadium. Beforehand, before I went and shot the event, I tried to draw an outline of what I may need. So I decided I might need a historian, somebody that's been there from the beginning, an alumni of the university that went to a lot of games, a player, and a student. So I lined those interviews up earlier in the week. In between those interviews, I walked around and I tried to get shots of everything happening during the game, stuff I could use for B-roll. I've spent a lot of time online looking for old pictures of the stadium, old articles, old video. What's going to take the most part is piecing it all together. From the time I was 12 or 13 years old, I always wanted to be a DJ. So I started looking for internships at hip-hop stations around town. I started interning around 21 at a hip-hop station in downtown Seattle. And the next step, as far as DJing in the clubs, for a hip-hop DJ, you got to put up mixtapes and you got to be on the radio. So fast forward, DJing around town, around 26, I got my first radio show. And I kind of felt like I hit a wall after about 4 or 5 years, and I wanted to take my career to the next level. So I moved to Las Vegas because there's a lot of work for DJs in Las Vegas. Spent some time doing that and realized that the industry isn't really going in the direction I thought it would. So I decided to go back to school and finish my bachelor's where I left off. I got a 2-year degree in Seattle while I was interning at the station in communications. And the next step in broadcasting would be to get a bachelor's and continue in radio, continue in streaming, or try TV. I think the most important thing, well, not the most important thing, but like advice is just to be committed and know what you're getting yourself into, because this literally, if you want to get the most out of it, it's going to take up all your time and you're not getting paid. So make sure that you know what it means to you and that you're willing to put in the work.
And while starting a path At the end of it all, starting a path in the real world for a journalism student is tougher than many may think. Whether it's starting in a different field or having another passion, these are all the risks we have to take as journalists.
It's so true. Spending countless hours in this building is what we as seniors will miss the most. As journalism students, our passion is to tell stories that pushes us towards our goals for our future careers. Now, let's go to Rebel Report Timeout. Carl Lopez is in studio with a very special guest.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we have the one, the only, the man behind the magic, John Castanino. Thank you so much for being here.
You guys make the magic happen, and no matter how much sucking up you do now, grades are pretty much set, okay? And they might change a little bit, but still I appreciate the big introduction.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here. And tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up in journalism? Did you always knew you wanted to do this?
Well, the backstory is that I was a kid, 7, 8 years old, unfortunately grew up a Cubs fan, right? And if you know the Cubs, and this is before you were born, they were terrible, okay, for a really long time before they got kind of good and won the World Series a few years ago. But I would literally run home from school at first, second grade, and I'd catch the back end of like a matinee and afternoon game that the Cubs would play, and my guy Harry Carey, huge glasses, Coke bottle glasses, really an icon in broadcasting. I'd get home and try to listen to him call the back half of a game that usually the Cubs lost. But really, I knew it then that I wanted to do that as a job. And then when ESPN and SportsCenter blew up in the 90s, right? I grew up in the 90s as opposed to you guys. But seeing that, and ESPN was the only game in town. And I said, that's what I want to do for a living. So pretty much from the start, I knew I wanted to be in journalism and broadcasting.
Wow. And now switching gears a little bit, the Rebel Report has been on for 8 seasons now. How do you think the program has changed, and what do you see in the future for Rebel Report?
It's crazy that you say 8 seasons. It's hard for me to kind of process that. So I came here to the school in 2015, and really they were just like, hey, we need a sports journalism program. Can you run it? And I said, sure. And it's blown up into what we have now. That is 8 seasons of this show that's won some Emmy Awards. We have now a second show, The Rundown, which we've performed this semester. And to be honest with you, and shoot, I hate doing this, but because the camera's on, I get honest when the cameras are on. I really am proud of this group and this semester. By far, we've turned more content with our website up and running, rebelreportunlv.com, more than any other semester that we have ever before. And it's just awesome to see where we started with nothing to what we have now, and that is 2 shows, a website, all the social media platforms, and all these cool stories that we've shown, the documentary pieces. It's been quite the evolution, and really the credit goes to you guys. I just kind of manage it. And it's hard to manage sometimes because it's just me, but you guys at times make it easy.
Yeah, and lastly, we see all the effort you put into the show, the hours you spend with us, and you go to games with us and really ask a lot of us, but you spend a lot of time yourself in the studio and working. What does this mean to you, and like, why do you do this?
Well, I know that while I went undergrad here at UNLV and I was part of this journalism program, I didn't have the same opportunities that you guys had, right? I was kind of, and I don't want to say the school left me on my own. It didn't, but there was no Raiders here, and we have a couple representatives from the Raiders here today, which is awesome. We didn't have the Golden Knights. The UFC was just starting. I think it was like UFC 1 is when I was in college here about 20 years ago. I understand the importance of getting that real-world experience that I didn't get in college, and really that's kind of what drives me to do it for you guys. It's not out of selfishness. It's really because I know how valuable these experiences are, and the payoff for me is when you guys go out and get jobs and you're in the working world. And when I get former students like today coming back and saying thank you, right? And especially the kicker is when they say, John, you were right about everything. I love that more than anything, especially the social media stuff that I try to teach you guys. But I just do it for you guys, honestly.
And how do you think this program compares to the ones around the country?
There's no question we can have one of the top journalism, sports journalism programs in the country. There's just no doubt in my mind. We're growing in as well as the Raiders are. We're growing with the Golden Knights. We're growing with the Lights. We're growing with that NBA team that should come here within the next few years. So I don't think there's any question that we can have, we've been working towards that top-tier university status. No question we can't be a top-tier journalism program, and I feel like we're busting at the seams now. If we can grow as quickly as UNLV and the community is growing, I don't think there's any question that students from across the country can look at our program and say, I would like to go to UNLV and learn journalism.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. We really
Thanks for having me.
You.
Yeah.
Everything that you do.
You got it.
And well, now let's go toss it to Deontay.
That was the interview. Thank you, Carla. I'm Deontay Hegler. For this week's panel discussion, we will be switching it up with a trivia game. Joining us today, we have Jason Toctasian, Karina Truehill, and Diamond Williams. Now, let's get to the game.
Let's do it.
First question, which of these 2 teams came here first in Las Vegas? Diamond, you're up.
What team?
Aces or the Knights?
Aces.
Jason.
The Golden Knights.
The Knights.
Oh,
I was going to say.
The correct answer is the Knights.
No.
All right, next question.
Strike one.
What year did the Running Rebels win the national championship? Diamond, you're up. You got to say the year.
Oh, Rebels?
Running Rebels.
2006.
Jason.
This is going to be a shot in the dark. Let's go 1994.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm going to say 2002.
What? All right. Wrong answers. The correct answer is 1990. All right, next.
Unfortunate.
What
Unlucky.
MLB team do the Las Vegas Aviators currently officiate with? Diamond.
What was the question again?
They affiliate with.
The Aviators.
The Aviators. What team do they affiliate with? Professional, MLB.
Oh, the Dodgers.
The Oakland A's.
The Oakland A's.
Correct answer. I don't know where you get your answer from. It's the Oakland A's. All right. Now this question, I hope you guys can get.
Okay.
How many Super Bowls have the Raiders won? Diamond, you're up.
10.
3.
Jason.
3.
10? 3 is the correct answer.
Yes.
All
right. Disclaimer, completely guessed.
All right, well now
That's
you got to
good.
guess on this one.
Oh, jeez.
How many, if any, were from a different city? Diamond, you're up. Raiders Super Bowls.
2.
Jason.
So the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, were in San Diego. So let me just go one. I'll just go one of them.
Okay, great.
I'll go with none. How about that? They were all from the same city.
Okay. Bro, Jason, you're half right. Wrong. It's Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
Cali,
okay.
Southern California. You
Okay. This is an opinion-based question. He's not retired just yet, but who is the greatest player of all time? Is it Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Michael Jordan?
LeBron James.
Diamond.
Okay, I would say Steph Curry, but I'll say Kobe Bryant because you won't put Curry in that.
Look, I'm a Laker fan, die hard. Lived in LA. Not gonna say Kobe Bryant because I have to keep the integrity of the National Basketball Association intact and say that it was Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jordan. It was Michael Jordan.
Full name.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
And Curry's the greatest shooter, not player. Okay, we got time for a bonus question.
Oh,
All right.
a bonus.
A bonus question.
bonus.
Here we go.
All right.
Where did John Castellino on-air career begin? Hint, it's spooky.
Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah, that's Casper,
Casper,
Wyoming.
Wyoming. I did a doc on him, so
Whoa.
I should know.
Wyoming.
So she definitely should have
I
got
should
that
know.
one right.
Okay, well, another bonus question.
Okay.
Ooh, yes, I have it still. What game did the Las Vegas Lights sell out in their stadium? Against what team?
I worked for them.
Oh my
Yes, you do.
Reno. Against Reno.
Karina?
I'm going to say against Washington.
Diamond.
I'm just go with Jason Reno. He worked for them, so.
I guess you gotta go with Jason. Yes, it is correct.
Okay.
Good job.
If Harry Ruiz is watching, you know. You know.
Well, thank you guys for participating in this week's special edition of the panel. This is the trivia game.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Let's do it again.
Now let's send it back. Oh, now let's send it to Naomi and Brianna.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for our Season 8 finale of The Rebel Report.
Also, make sure you continue to follow us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Report UNLV.
That's right. And now, besides just I, Brianna Hernandez, and Naomi Brown, we'll be sending off our seniors, Carla Lopez, Diamond Williams, and lastly, our professor, John Castellino, graduating this fall semester.
We appreciate everyone's hard work and dedication to the Rebel Report. Now, everyone's up here for our grand finale. Let's send it off. And while we celebrate over the holiday season, we're going to leave you with many of our not so great moments of the semester, our bloopers. Enjoy, and we'll see you in 2020. Woo! Love that. Look at it, switch it up. That was good until I messed it up. 3. This is so hard for me. I'm gonna get it, I swear. Naomi? Let's go. Do you want a job after this or what?
As well as for the team, we're able to utilize. The NFL has proposed the idea of a new For the Rebel Report, this is Christian. Oh my gosh.
Coach Otzelberger talked with us before this game, saying that the team really needs to step up their defense. Not only that, but also they need to get more aggressive on the O-line.
Football. This is not football. You can keep it rolling. I'm sorry.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, go. Okay. You're fine. I'll wait. We're here at TPC Summerlin for the the South Point 400 kicks off the Monster NASCAR Energy Series, the playoffs. That's all I say. I don't know what I'm going to say. Okay. For the Rebel Report, I'm Karina Trio. That's not what I was saying.
Or at the new
Because Let's can make it to playoffs. We're still hoping that Las Vegas Lights can make it. We're still hoping that Las Vegas Lights can make it to playoffs.
Or at the upcoming Allegiant Stadium. I'm Carla Lopez. This is for the Rebel Report.
Yeah. Okay, I got this. Okay. A lot goes on behind the scenes here at the UNLV track and field program as they prepare on preseason for the and the UNLV hockey team, one of very own UNLV's clubs, is here practicing and playing their home games. And they get to practice on the ice. I messed up.
That's ending take 2.
Well, that's it for the...
Ending take 4.
Wait, I forgot. What am I saying? That stuck to my lip. Ow. Okay, I'm sorry. Why I'm sending them to the penalty box and test their hockey trivia. I said, can we do that again?
Let's get back to the show.
Sure. Okay. I think fine. Is that fine?
John, she's stay cussing.
Okay.
I said Western Conference. Mountain West opener. Mountain West opener. Mountain West opener.
A huge fact prior to the game. I had it. A huge fact prior to tonight's game. Okay.
Is it okay? I don't think so. It is recording? Okay, so we got a lot of that. Wow. Nice. Bloopers.
You think Karina first.
Oh, okay. I need it on there though. It's not on the block.
That's fine. You say just Karina.
Okay.
Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Ready?
Thanks, Karina.
Wow.
Well, good luck to
Why
Big
is camera 2 tilting up on us? Why is camera 2?
This is why I hate doing this.
Jason Toctasian breaks down the highlights that show the team's recent resurgence, all without Marc-Andre Fleury with net. Jason Toctasian breaks down the highlights that show the team's recent resurgence, all without Marc-Andre Fleury in net. I hear you laughing.
I can hear John laughing.
I can hear you. No, you're right. I needed bloopers, that's why I did it.
I can't tell John I can hear him laughing on the headset from here.
I'm here at the G2E Global Gaming Expo here at the Sands in Las Vegas to check out how... I'm here at G2E, the Golden Knights took on the Anaheim Ducks here at T-Mobile Arena and came out with a 5-2 victory. In the first period, Nicholas Waugh scored. The Golden Knights took on the Anaheim Ducks tonight, coming out with a